When people picture Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, they often imagine a perfectly matched royal couple, destined from birth to rule side by side. But the real story of how their love began is far more unexpected and surprisingly relatable. Their paths first crossed in 1934 at a royal wedding when Elizabeth was just 8 years old. But it wasn't until 1939, during a tour of the Royal Naval College, that a teenage Elizabeth truly noticed Philip. He was dashing, athletic, and just a little bit rebellious, a far cry from the carefully groomed princes she had known. At first, Philip wasn't considered the ideal match for the future queen. He was a prince, yes, but of Greek and Danish descent, with a complicated family history and a rather uncertain future. Many members of the royal family and British high society were skeptical, but Elizabeth was smitten. She started writing him letters, and their friendship blossomed into a deep, genuine connection. Throughout World War II, Philip served bravely in the Royal Navy, and the distance only made their feelings grow stronger. While Elizabeth waited patiently at home, Philip's letters became a lifeline. It was during these years of separation that their bond truly deepened, rooted not in luxury or status, but in shared values and mutual respect. When Philip finally proposed in 1946, Elizabeth accepted without hesitation. However, their engagement was kept secret for several months, as King George VI worried his daughter was too young and that Philip's foreign roots could spark controversy. In the end, Elizabeth's unwavering devotion won out. Against the odds, their engagement was announced in July 1947. Their wedding was a bright spot in post-war Britain, watched by millions. What many didn't realize, though, was that the love story that began in private would go on to shape the future of the British monarchy and challenge every expectation about royal romance. Despite the fairy tale wedding, the early years of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's marriage were filled with obstacles most people never saw. Adjusting to royal life wasn't easy for Philip. He had to give up his promising naval career and even his family name. The very traits Elizabeth admired, his independence, outspokenness, and wit, were sometimes viewed with suspicion inside the royal household. Many courtiers thought Philip didn't quite fit in. He was an outsider in more ways than one. Philip faced the loss of his own identity. To marry Elizabeth, he abandoned his Greek and Danish titles, adopted British citizenship, and took the name Mountbatten. Even so, he was often sidelined in official matters. The press painted him as brash or too modern, and there were endless rumors about tensions behind palace doors. But those who knew them well saw how Elizabeth relied on Philip for strength and humor, especially during moments of crisis. Their relationship was also tested by public duty. When Elizabeth's father, King George VI, died unexpectedly in 1952, she became queen at just 25. Overnight, their private life disappeared. Philip struggled with his new role as consort, often walking 2 steps behind his wife. There was little room for ego or personal ambition. Yet, despite the immense pressures, their bond endured. They learned to lean on each other, making compromises that only strengthened their connection. Of course, being royal didn't shield them from rumors or challenges common to any marriage. Stories about Philip's friendships with other women made headlines from time to time, but neither ever publicly commented. Instead, they maintained a united front, supporting each other through the relentless glare of the public eye. Behind the scenes, friends described them as a couple who laughed easily together, partners who fiercely protected their privacy. What kept them together wasn't just love or duty, but a deep sense of partnership. In the words of the Queen herself, Philip was her strength and stay. For more than 7 decades, they faced the world side by side, weathering storms with a mixture of grace and resilience that defied every stereotype about royal marriages. As the decades passed, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's marriage became a symbol of endurance and commitment, not just to each other, but to an entire nation. Their relationship evolved in public, but its foundation remained deeply private, even as the world changed around them. From the swinging 60s to the digital age, they adapted together, each supporting the other through personal joys and national crises. Their sense of duty was unwavering, but it was clear that behind the formalities and royal protocols, there was genuine affection and mutual respect. One of the secrets to their long partnership was their sense of humor. Friends and royal insiders often remarked on their playful banter and the way they made each other laugh, even during the most stressful times. Philip's irreverence was the perfect counterbalance to Elizabeth's steadiness. While she was measured and thoughtful, he was spontaneous and witty. This balance helped them survive decades in the spotlight, keeping their bond alive through all the ups and downs. Their legacy isn't just about longevity, it's about evolution. They modernized the monarchy, opening up royal life to the public in ways never seen before. Together, they weathered scandals, celebrated milestones, and adapted to a changing world. Through it all, they remained each other's confidant and closest ally. In moments of triumph and tragedy alike, they stood united, setting an example of loyalty and perseverance. When Prince Philip passed away in April 2021, Queen Elizabeth described his presence as a great comfort and strength. Their marriage had lasted over 73 years, making it the longest of any British monarch. In her words and actions, the world saw a rare, enduring love story that had been built not on fairy tales, but on patience, forgiveness, and respect. In the end, the true story of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's love is more real and more remarkable than any royal myth. It was a partnership built on acceptance of each other's flaws, shared laughter, and a mutual promise to face whatever life brought them. Together, their journey reminds us all that even the most public lives are shaped by the quiet, private bonds of loyalty and love.